It's so cold. Thanks, Mom.
Well, I'll keep you with socks on.
Okay. All right. So,
good morning.
Good morning.
It's morning time.
It is morning. It's really early.
It's fucking cold. Well, it's early for us. Me, at least.
We are at one. Well, I have two gyms. You have one.
This is my gym.
This is her gym. But this is my second home. We're at Tor's house in El Segundo.
Professor's Chiago. So thank you for letting us stay.
Thank you, Brazilian dad.
Pappy.
We wanted to, I don't know, film this in a place that brings us a lot of peace, which is a mat. I mean, there's some moments of chaos. And just talk about, just the first days of jiu-jitsu or what you're going to experience in those first moments. And this episode is really dedicated to or these episodes that we're going to have dedicated to us. For me, it was 3 years ago when I was still really lost but wanting to join a gym, but I wasn't even sure what to look for, what jiu-jitsu was. It just looked really cool.
Just came across.
Yeah. And how long ago was it for you?
It was 3 years too.
Yeah.
Just got her blue belt.
Oh my god! You guys want to see it? So when I got promoted, I got this really pretty blue, like really pretty blue belt, blue belt, and but it was so big. It was like an A2. It was down to my knees.
Yeah.
So I ended up ordering a new one.
It's really cute.
It's blue.
Really pretty.
And it fits. But I actually got, as I am, I get excited and I start overtraining. I actually got injured just 3 days after I got my blue belt, so I haven't been able to break it in.
It's still nicely folded.
It's still nice, yeah. So this is the cleanest and nicest your blue belt will ever get. Actually applied because of a friend to the Josiah Shea Female Soldiers Jiu Jitsu group, a group of ambassadors. I haven't told you this.
Yeah.
And I got accepted. So I'll actually be representing a brand, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
I know. I look what it says. Resilient women conquer all.
I love it.
It's an A0. I better make sure I don't eat above the A0. I was telling Gianni that of all the things I want from her, the things you can steal from your friend, I think her hair is adorable. Don't want it. I think her face is adorable. Don't want it. I want her metabolism.
I've been eating a lot lately, and I haven't been gaining weight, which is new.
But this girl survives off of M&M's, Skittles, Twizzlers,
hot Cheeto, lime Cheetos,
toast with
Snickers.
sugary almond butter at night. She was eating in my face. I'm doing keto right now. Which, if you don't know what keto,
you want to buy it? What are we looking at here? You're just like, that smells so good. I'm like, it's so delicious.
I really was just, when like a puppy is watching you eat, I was just like,
like that.
That was me. That was me last night.
That was me at 10:30.
Yeah. So her diet consists of like 98% sugars and a couple proteins and fats.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I need to get my shit together.
It's okay. You look great.
Thank you.
But yeah, metabolism. If I could take one thing from Gianni.
Aging with quicker metabolism.
Whereas me, I eat like a cheeseburger and I'm like, what's that on my leg? It's a cheeseburger. What's that like? But yeah, so I'm doing keto right now because of my injury. We can do a nutrition episode later.
Yeah, that would be very beneficial for me because
keto is when you eat pretty much most of your diet from fats. I eat some proteins in there, but mostly just eat fats and
butter.
But
your coffee.
It's really good. It's good until somebody eats toast in your face. So we wanted to talk about why we started jiu-jitsu. Why did you start jiu-jitsu, Gianni?
So I started 3 years ago, almost 4 at the end of this year, in Gaithersburg, Maryland, at the academy. It's Evolve Academy, and he's mastermind. You can hear his Professor Chiago, so it's weird to say master versus coach or professor.
Yeah,
so
you'll
that
find
was
that
a transition weird.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what do I call you? He's like, coach, and then somebody said coach, and then he's like, I'm professor, and I'm like, what? Okay, so I started with they had MMA, they had like strength like hit training, which they called primal skills. So when I started, I was just looking for a gym where I can kind of get in shape. And I saw jiu-jitsu, but for me, when I saw the gis and I saw them lining up and I saw them doing drills and I saw them warming up, it was intimidating because it seemed like everyone knew exactly what they were doing. Forward rolls, doing cartwheels with your right arm, and then doing cartwheels with your left arm, doing backward rolls and like sprawls. I'm like, what is that? And I'm just like, no, I think I'm just gonna punch this bag some more, you know, like that was my workout thing.
It's overwhelming, right?
It is really overwhelming.
Yeah.
And for me, it was very intimidating. And it wasn't until I moved here that I started trying to understand more of what jiu-jitsu stands for me at least, what I would interpret it as, versus just trying to get into shape. And when I started, I was just trying to get into shape. So
this reminds me, somebody described jiu-jitsu to me as the feeling of a child learning the alphabet for the first time, right? You start not even understand, like, what is a word? What is a letter? And
you
so
just
somebody,
see it, and you're like, okay, we're not gonna
what is
understand
that?
what that makes sound, like what that sound, you know,
Yeah.
it's really that. It really is, because then you have to learn how to put those words together. You gotta learn when to use those sentences and everything. It's exactly like jiu-jitsu.
And white belt starting is literally just being, that's the letter A. And
right?
hopefully you learn
One
the
day
letter
you'll
B.
be able to spell this, and you're like, but when do I need that word? And it's exactly like that. That's perfect.
And
That's
it's
exactly
limitless.
what jiu-jitsu is. Even to this day, we'll be training and he'll be yelling something, like Thiago will be yelling something, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's like, the left. I'm like, oh, this leg, okay. Like,
What's a leg?
What's one leg?
No, yeah.
It's a lot of fun now more than it was before, because now I just don't have, I'm still a white belt, so I don't have any expectations for what the outcome would be. I'm just like learning. I'm still learning and training. And I do it as often as I can. But
so what finally got you to dive into a class? So you were doing boxing mostly.
Mostly boxing. Okay, so there's this girl, her name is Susan, and she's been, I don't know, she's probably like a black belt now. But I was rolling with her once, and she goes, so why do you like MMA? And I'm like, I don't know, it's fun to strike and like kick and stuff. She goes, yeah, jiu-jitsu is a smarter sport.
Oh.
And after she said it, I was like, wait.
A little backhanded comment.
I'm like, I just remember, not that she was saying anything about me. I didn't feel like she was, but for her, like jiu-jitsu was a harder sport.
It's true.
It was more training, more thought, more, you know, you have to have more control. And when I heard her say that, I just heard a challenge. I heard like, Gianne, you can't do this, you know?
Right.
So I was like, yes, I can. So then I was like,
I hope you sounded like,
it was 3
yes,
days.
okay.
I was like, what? How are
Yes, I can.
I can do
I
it.
was like, arms twisted, legs twisted. I can do it now. Can it come
It was like striking, but that's where, and it's so funny. This is probably, if she ever watches this, she'll probably laugh, because I bet you she remembers that day. So it was kind of like
and you know what?
Conversation.
She probably said it to you knowing that there was a huge chance that you would do
because
it.
she must have been like a blue belt then.
Yeah.
You know? Because when you talk to someone and knowing that you know what you're doing, you know what to say to be like,
I could get them.
you know, like, you can't do this.
And you know what I've seen? There are, we won't get into this too much because we can talk about it forever. There's not a lot of women still to this day who train, a lot more than 10 years ago. But it's funny because there's still a group of core women who are blue, purple, brown, and you go to their gym and you realize they have seen a lot of women walk through the door
and walk back out.
And
because even now you don't know that. I mean, except for the ones that are at the gyms that we go to that are white belts, all of them that we know of, they're all brown, almost black or blue belts.
There's a lot of drop off.
Yeah.
So, but she said that to you on purpose.
For sure. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm scared. So then what did you do next?
The next day I was in the jiu-jitsu. I was in my gi, and I think I rented the gi for the first like 4 months because I couldn't afford it. You know, I was like, I'm not gonna buy a gi, they have them here. And then I realized how much pride you have, kind of having your own stuff.
It's real.
Because it was a little too big. Some of the belts are always too long. Some of the pant was a man's pant and a woman's, you know. And I'm like, you know what? I should get my own gi because I'll show up with my gi and it would fit me the way I like. And it did. And I loved my first gi. It's huge now.
I want to talk about this. So yes, when you show up to the gym and then you're like, okay, cool, you're gonna try a class, you're gonna sign up, they'll let you borrow someone's gi. You know, little sketch, rent a gi, or they have loaner gis, or they'll even give you one as like part of your sign up package. It's always going to not be the right size for you, and you're going to feel like a little girl when she puts on her mom's like heels and clothes and earrings, and you're like wobbling around like, okay, I'm trying, and you do look ridiculous.
You look funny.
You look funny, but it like your confidence, it's so different when you actually, like you said, buy your own gi and it fits and you like just look the part. But be prepared for that. The first gi you use, get, borrow,
it's whatever.
It's gonna look crazy. It's gonna be too big, it's not gonna fit right. But we'll talk about gis later too.
Yeah, we'll talk about gis. That should be a gi episode.
And the belt was too big. I love that.
Everything was just.
Again, it's like it's getting comfortable with the feeling of looking and being ridiculous and totally out of place. But you look back at that moment now and you're like, oh my god, look at how much I've grown.
Yeah, I thought when I first put it on, I was like, how am I supposed to move in this?
Yeah.
It's thick.
It's uncomfortable.
It feels. I'm just like, what the hell? And they're like, all right, because eventually you're gonna have to grab. I'm like, grab it. I'm like, this is like, the hell. No, but now it just has been more neat. But it could be thick, it could be light, it could be tight, whatever, but
it's a weird sensation. It's a weird sensation. Let's just put it it's a form of clothes you would never wear, but
when you first start. Now I wear these out.
You do. She goes to get lunch and coffee.
Wear my gi-pants. They're like, are those scrubs? I'm like, scrubs? These are my gi pants.
I love that face.
How dare you?
Do you just get your belt and like whip them?
Just like, no, not my white belt.
Not your belt. Oh, okay.
It's not threatening. It's a blue belt.
I want to say, so Gianni kicks my ass all the time. All of it. Literally. She does a little like Muay Thai Jiu Jitsu where she flails her legs and you're like, I can't grab her. But she's awesome. And she's like, this is a great gift about having really, really resilient women to train with all the time is that they give you a challenge. Gianni is still a white belt, but only because she's moved across the country. So yeah, she's moved a lot, and so finding your gym and committing to your. In my heart, she's a blue. Finding a gym and having that coach, that professor, that master really see like, okay, how do they perform along like a long period of time is important.
Yeah.
I mean, there's actually people that have switched gyms and realized that maybe they didn't deserve that next belt. Like here, there's a guy who was a blue belt years ago, didn't train for a while, came back to this gym, and actually returned his blue belt.
And he kept his white.
Yeah. So it's all just about, it's really, I want to say it's about belts, it's relative.
Yeah.
Each belt is means different things to different people because they've accomplished or overcome different hurdles in their journey.
Yeah.
So no belt is the same as someone else's belt.
True.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, again. Yours is a white belt, but mine is it's a blue.
Oh! It's confusing. This hair is confusing y'all because it's not that thick. So should we just lean in and she thought she was gonna like bounce off of it? No, there's a lot of nothing in here. It's very thin.
Honestly,
it's big.
My head is so hard nowadays that we're okay.
Slow and tight.
Okay. Do you bump into walls or like stump your toe on your bed and now it doesn't hurt? Is that just me? Oh my god,
your poor feet. Your toes like that, right?
Okay, no, but for real, like I feel
now it doesn't hurt. The shins, yeah.
Yeah.
The shins on the corner of shit.
So you'll notice that over time, like everything. So talking about your first class, the first time anyone makes contact with you, it's gonna hurt, even if it's not. Because when you're a beginner, someone's not gonna like go full force competition mode on you, but the first time somebody literally goes skin to skin, bone to bone, and you're feeling that friction, every nerve in your body feels it and hurts.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you
Like-
kind of want it tense. For me, it was awkward being in someone's guard or someone's mounted on me because I'm laying there. I'm just like, and they're like, relax, and I'm like, but you're on top of me.
Dude, so we should probably show them what guard and mount are, because if you haven't done jiu-jitsu, you're like, what?
What is that? Okay.
Shut up. Okay, so guard, it's super awkward. It's essentially the person is in between your legs, and you wrap your legs around them. Yeah. And this is actually an attack position, as vulnerable as it feels. I could armbar her from here. I could choke her from here. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But this is guard.
So this is guard. But for women, for me, this was a guy.
Yeah.
Or he was in my guard. And then he's like, what are you, and I'm like, oh, he's like, come on, you gotta, I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta close my legs tighter. Okay, like, this is weird.
And then mount.
And then mount. Like your neck, you have to, this is comfortable here. But when I first started, I was like this. And they're like, get your legs up. I'm like, keep your neck. I'm like,
But
get off of me. But
this is so awkward.
it's weird. It's weird if you don't know the person, if it's a man or if it's a girl or guy that you think is cute and they're on you and you're trying to be like, are you? Like, this is jiu-jitsu, there's none of that. But it's just weird. It's weird. They're weird positions. So that pressure of someone being on you, or if you're drilling something and it feels just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It feels uncomfortable. If you're
weird.
drilling arm bars and you gotta put your hands on their chest and like, it's just, you gotta touch body parts.
If you're a girl, your boobs are gonna get touched a lot. There's some guys that can be girls. It's never happened to me. I've heard stories. But just generally, there's gonna be a lot of contact with different parts of you.
Yeah. So the pressure of.
But it's not
touch.
sexual.
Yeah.
It's not at all. It's athletic. You know.
If you understand what's supposed to be happening, then it's not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But for me, it was uncomfortable because I didn't
It will always be
understand
the
any
first
of.
time.
Yeah. And then going online and watching YouTube videos to how to properly do things will help you understand if it's being done right.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing it correctly. And if you have a good coach or professor, they're gonna let you know like you're doing that wrong.
So you'll leave your first class and everything will have hurt and everything will hurt for a lot of days after.
Yep.
Like I remember after my first class, even my toes were sore. Like my toenails.
Active toes. So the actual like foot being bent like this the whole time is stressful. Because then you're like, my toes don't bend like that. They're not supposed to bend like that.
Your body's gonna change. Your body's gonna learn to do things with the toes apparently.
My feet are going in the middle.
It's almost like your body starts to slowly become used to getting hit and having contact over and over again, that the little things stop hurting as much. And like I think that's such a cool metaphor for life. Like once you do something this hard every day, then you walk into the office. Like we're gonna go to work after this.
Yeah.
And like nothing hurts you
Yeah.
the way that it used to, you know? Like I'll have a meeting where it's really rough and I'll be like, well, someone choked me earlier today, so it doesn't really matter.
I got need.
Yeah, and you do care obviously about your, but it's like you stress the little things less, and it's the same thing with jiu-jitsu. Like your body stresses the little things less.
You release.